myself, really getting very worried about some of the moves by the Senate, by the Vice President. The other time he also said something as much about cryptocurrency. Oh, the central bank should not, should wake up and should go and, regulate cryptocurrency. She doesn't want to hear this idea of the banned cryptocurrency and stuff. However, I felt that in that instance of cryptocurrency, you can't ban what you don't understand. And the central banks around the world cannot understand the animal that cryptocurrency is. They are on two different parallel universes. All right? Cryptos and central banking. There's nothing to regulate by central bank on cryptocurrency because this is decentralized banking. Decentralized finance. Finance, which when you hear decentralized, what it means is remove central from banking and therefore remove central banking. Now, so these guys in crypto want to go after central banking. They believe that as a fallout of what I mentioned earlier in 2007, 8, 9, the collapse of financial markets in that time, the dalliance with collateralized debt obligations, credit default swaps, and so on by investment banks in the US and and the bailout that came out of that by Obama. Trillions of dollars were spent bailing out these guys. The boys who started crypto felt that, hey, these central banks are too much chummy with these banks, and all of those bailouts release cash into the system, which kind of creates inflation and devalues everybody's cash, whatever it is you are holding on to, and they felt that, look, we needed to make a change. Let us create a currency, that cannot be inflated. Let us create a currency that no central banker will come and say, well, I've just, bailed out whatever, I've pushed $2 trillion into circulation. Go and deal with it, and so on. And that's the idea. So, and in that instance, the VP believed that the central bank should go and regulate. And the other people say, yeah, and I felt, hey, this one, I'm not sure he quite knows what he's talking about because it's not just another financial institution you can regulate, okay? Now, in fact, if people read the manifesto by Satoshi Nakamoto and co, you see that, look, it's a fight to the finish between cryptocurrencies and central banking. And when you take out central banking, what then happens is you're going to, of course, by extension, you've taken out commercial banking, investment banking as we know it, because that's the platform on which they rely. The currency managed by central banks, okay, once it disappears, then there goes the commercial bank, they're gone. The system is gone. And there goes government. Because the government except the government wants to start taxing you through cryptocurrencies. And it has no control over it. Absolutely no control over it. The government can't barge into it and say, the government is not issuing the currency. So there's a kind of anarchic, undertone and eventuality to the crypto game. The central bank is, especially the Central Bank of Nigeria with the e-Naira, is only trying to be proactive, okay? To be proactive, to say, okay, listen, we know that this crypto game is coming. You don't sit on your hands when innovation is coming. You don't. Like the entire industry, banking is going to be entirely digital. Currencies are eventually going to be digital fully. Everybody is going to be digital. We're talking about the internet of everything here. Okay? The signs are there. And what did they say? They say that anybody, human being, institution, country, whose rate of change, okay, is less than or equal to the rate of change in their environment, less than or equal to the rate of change in their environment, okay, is eventually becoming a dinosaur. So if you're not changing faster than your environment, now in the currency environment, in the monetary environment, okay, a digital currency, in fact, let's say 10,000 digital currencies called cryptocurrencies are running. And there's the allure, the Generation Z, they do everything digital, And there's the allure, the fact that it's being traded and people are buying from people and the prices are going up, meaning that a lot of people are swinging towards cryptocurrency. The cryptocurrencies were not ab initio meant to be traded. They were meant to be held. The idea was store of value. That the kind of store of value that we're not getting from fiat currency, you can get it from cryptocurrency. Eventually, people started trading it. So if we had a Bitcoin now, I can only buy off someone who already has Bitcoin. So you cannot have the idea is you cannot have more than 21 million Bitcoin. About 18.5 million have been issued. 4.5 million Bitcoin have been lost. People will ignore all of that. Lost because if you forget your PIN, forget your key, if your laptop gets corrupted and you didn't back up anywhere, and that's where it's gone. For people have died and their Bitcoin is lost because they've not given their PIN or their key to anybody else. 4.5 million coins have been lost. All right. So, but all of that is going on. That means there's no deposit insurance. There's no go-to person in case you run into trouble with cryptocurrency. But it's still very attractive to people because, hey, all of a sudden you know that wow, I can invest in this one, and boom, because a lot of people are demanding for it. You can get 1,000%, whatever from it. So, however, the central banks cannot do anything about the gamble that goes on in cryptocurrency. It's simply a gamble. Cryptocurrencies have no intrinsic value whatsoever. They're just based on the idea of let us agree, let us create a chain, and at the end of the day, you know, the prices rise as a result of more people coming into the crypto space, believing that look, this is the future. Okay, so the central bank can try and mitigate the store of value allegation and say, okay, fine, look, we can get a store of value, a stable currency, which is also digital, which is the e-naira. I went back and I realized that there's a kind of ideological underpinning behind that. And President Babangida recently gave an interview. He mentioned it. You know, when they signed up to market forces, he put that idea of being, you know, signing on to market forces driven economics at the same level as the unity of Nigeria, as some of the things that they signed up for in their government, and which has bound us up, you know, since then up to now, you know. And I was afraid because you see, ideological things are very difficult to deal with. I'm not ideological. I'm rather pragmatic. I'm like, okay, listen, you know, know your people. How many are they? What are their problems? What's their demographics? Who's poor? Who's not poor? And all of that. When you know your people, the economic policies you run should help your people. So whether you are taking it from capitalism, socialism, whatever ism, make sure it works for your people. Unfortunately, what they've done is to lock into a certain ideology, which they are not even running well. Let's call it a crony capitalism that we're running. Let's say, look, I mean, China is running a state capitalism. Imagine that. The state is the chief driver of the capitalism. Their banks are the biggest. Their construction companies are the biggest. And they are better for it. America is a capitalist economy, but they have some of the hugest, you know, social services in the world. You talk about Obamacare, talk about Medicaid, you know, talk about all sorts of things going on. Talk about, you know, the fact that they have food, soup kitchens and so on for poor people. Where would you find that in Nigeria? So anyhow, they signed up for this idea of market-based economy. And in 1986, we started devaluing. They said, yeah, the Naira is not realistic. The value of the Naira is not realistic. Let's devalue. So they devalued to 3 Naira, to 4 Naira, to 8 Naira, to 12 Naira, 12 Naira to 22 Naira, 22 Naira to 50 Naira, 50 to 88 Naira, 88 to 99 Naira, 99 to 120, 120 to 155, 155 to 199. Okay? That was around when this government came. 199, boom, to 306. 306 to 360. 360 to 398. 398, we've got to 414 now. And someone comes and says, this value, so all of this while we've been getting the same rhetoric. It's unrealistic. We need a market value. It has to be determined by demand and supply. See, let me tell you what. The only way to understand this is to go back and study other currencies. I went back and studied other currencies, the history of currencies. The Japanese yen, the Chinese yuan, you know, when these currencies debuted, they were at par with the strongest currency at that point in time. The Japanese yen was devalued only as a result of their failure in the Second World War. It went down to about 600, then got revalued to 300. Today, as we speak, it's about 107 or thereabout to the US dollar. Joseph Stalin, and as echoed by Margaret Thatcher, so from Joseph Stalin right there on the left to Margaret Thatcher right here on the extreme right, did say that to destroy a country, the first thing you do is to debauch its currency.
Just devalues currency.
Debauch. Debauchment means, you make a currency become rubbish. And I see that this is what's going on with our Naira. And not only the Naira. It was around the same 1986 that all of a sudden IMF and World Bank discovered that the currencies of most African countries were overvalued. And since then, all we've been having is devaluation of currencies of most black African countries. And what I realized was that the more we devalue the currency, we were actually devaluing the people.